Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to episode 13 of Rocket League 101. Today what we're going to be going through is the speed flip, how and when to use it, and yeah, this one's going to be a lot more tutorial than how to use it because it's a much more complex thing than half flipping and wave dashing, right? So to start off with, I am just going to try and explain the controller movements and button presses and whatnot, and then what we're going to do is we're going to move on to that trainer pack I just brought up on the screen where it basically tests if you're doing it right, and they sort of get slightly harder, but like literal like milliseconds harder, right? And the last one is quite difficult to do. You have to get absolutely like perfect. So that's what I'm going to make you use to test that you're doing it right. And from there, I will just sort of keep doing it around the pitch and just show you how you can use it, and the way you should learn to use it, so you know how and when, like based on where you are on the pitch and how much boost you have and whatnot. Okay, so to start off with, we're just gonna simply do a diagonal flip. So you put your left analog stick to the top left corner, and you do a flip. That's step one. Okay, step two is doing a diagonal flip and then bring it down straight to the bottom, flat to the bottom, right? It doesn't actually have to be that exact, right? But flat to the bottom. Like a still flip, like I showed you with this and the half flipping, right? It's the same thing, so you do the stall, so as long as you can do a half flip, you should be able to do this. So you know that instant movement where you do diagonal left, or diagonal right, it doesn't really matter, like that, or that. And then what you do is either way you bring it down to the straight bottom. So you should get this. Wait, hold on, I keep instinctively doing the right thing. You should land incorrectly. That's how you know you're doing it right. And if you learn it at the other side, I'll try and do it, but I don't do these ones. There you go, see how I'm not landing correctly? That's how you know you're doing it right. Which I know sounds weird, right? But essentially, without boost, the next step is you have to... Now, I don't know the way everyone does this, but I use manual aero for this, and it's still fine. I can do all the things in that training pack, and I don't have trouble with my speed flips ever. I use manual aero to the left because I learned the game on manual aero, so I use it for near enough everything I can. But if you use aero left or right and you're really comfortable with it, I'm 99% sure you can use that as well. But the reason I use manual aero, this is to correct yourself, by the way. So you know how I said you do this and you don't land correctly, right? This is how you correct yourself. So then I did land correctly, right? So then, basically, once you've done that at the end of your flip, my manual aero button is the same as my power slide button, and you want to power slide as you come out of the speed flip, right? So you do this, and you're holding your manual aero still, and you're doing that. So I guess in a way you could, have your manual aero, you could have your power slide the same as your LB, or as your aero left or aero right, and then commit to only doing one side. But obviously, if I want to, I can do both because my power slide is the same as my manual, so I can use it for like doing right speed flips or left speed flips. So I would use manual, but I'm pretty sure you can use aero left or right if you want to. Okay, so go through it again. So you have diagonal flip stall to the back, diagonal flip stall, correct yourself using aero, and then diagonal flip stall, correct yourself using aero, and then hold that button hold your power slide button as you're landing, so you keep getting loads of momentum and it pushes you forward, more like a wave dash. You got to think about it like a wave dash. You just want to get that extra speed, right? So you're like this, and if you keep drifting, it's just so much better, right? And then when you add boost in, don't do that until you're comfortable. But I'm just trying to see. You can literally boost the whole time if you want to. When you're going around the pitch. So when you're not doing the kickoff, right? It's just because you're facing. The whole point of the speed flip is you're facing down the whole time, so you're constantly getting closer to the ground. That's why it's so fast, because you don't get much air time. So therefore you can boost the whole time because you're never going to boost up. because the reason you don't boost the whole time in a front flip or whatever is because you end up boosting up in the air or a back flip. Or that would be because you're boosting forwards at the start of it and then you're trying to go backwards, right? But on a speed flip you can boost the whole time, so you can boost as little as much as you want, right? And it's fine. Although when you have no boost, doing this is pretty pointless. I think in terms of direction as well, like choosing the direction when you want to go in, it might be a bit hard. Unless you're really comfortable, it might be a bit hard to aim for 12 boosts so you can actually like get your speed up around the pitch. But anyway, we're going to swiftly move on to me doing this. Now, I'm not going to get all of them perfectly every go, because I've never actually done this before. I just did a quick test run to check I'm qualified to do this video. I did do them all, almost first go. But, yeah. So, I'll leave the link to this in the description. You can go test yourself on this. It's pretty easy once you know it, but you do have to know it. See, I find this one awkward, to be honest. There you go. Because that one's more like a kickoff. My kickoffs are trash. That's probably why I should probably practice this one. Yeah. So something a lot of people will do a lot of the time is they'll accidentally do a side flip. You have to make sure, because basically you can do a diagonal flip in 2 ways, right? But only one of them is an actual diagonal flip. I don't know why I keep resetting it. It's just natural in my brain. There you go. So you can do a side. I'll show it in free play in a minute. But you can do a side flip, but aim forwards a bit, so that it will look like a diagonal flip. But that's not going to be a speed flip. Or you can do a front flip that's diagonal. So it's front flip to the side or side flip forwards, right? So when you do a side flip forwards, like this, that's nowhere near as fast as doing a front flip sideways, like this. I'm hoping you're seeing what I mean. You should be able to tell whether you're doing a side flip or a front flip, and you have to make sure you're doing a front flip. Oh, okay, well that's the hardest one I got it first go, so that's good. But yeah, you can watch this back in slower speed to try and see the movements better. But basically what you want to do is my car actually came up a little bit. You want to try and reduce that happening as much as possible. So basically, like that's a perfect speed flip. That is a perfect speed flip. So's that. So's that. So's that. So's that. Right? Like you're seeing, it's just easy, right? Nice and simple. Once you got it down, you can just do it. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I know. If you need the explanation again, I'll just go back in the video and listen to it again. Like, make sure you're trying to do absolutely everything right. If you have any questions, just leave it down in the comments. I will respond to them, or you can join my Discord, which will now be in the top link in my description. And you can ask me questions there, and I'd love to help you. Although most of you will probably come from the Discord to here. So yeah, in terms of a kickoff, you go past the first boost, and then you do it, but you don't want to use all your boost straight away because then you land too close to the ball, and then you want to use your momentum you still have to do a diagonal stall flip through the ball. Because if you do a diagonal stall, that's how you do a Fireburn, a 90-10. That's how you get the best 50. Right, so you do this, and then you do that, and you do it. Typically, you would do this, and then you just go with the momentum. The side. So I'm sort of moving right into the center of the ball there, so I'd flip right. So like when you're on the left, you do this. But when you're on, let's say you accidentally land on the right, you'd go to the left. So basically, you just have to use all your momentum in the same direction, and when you do a 50 for the kickoff, you do a diagonal stall flip in the direction you want to go, because stall flips give you a longer contact on the ball, which is why they're really good for 50s. So, in terms of doing the kickoff itself, I would recommend watching someone else's video, because my kickoffs are not perfect. I still need to learn them properly and like actually get it down, because since I've come back, they've been really bad. Like, I don't want to play ones because of my kickoff. Like I'm fine against anyone who doesn't do a speed flip, but if someone does a speed flip perfectly, they do just sort of beat me every time. And that's not because of my speed flip, it's just because of my timing and angling and whatnot I just need to work on. So for the kickoff, I would go watch someone else, but unless you're near GC, that doesn't matter. Like you're fine. Just use it to go around the pitch. You know, at least you now know how to do the speed flip, so that when you go watch a kickoff tutorial, you can do that already. So that should help you with that. And yeah, if you have any video suggestions, just leave it in the comments or in the video suggestions channel in my Discord server. And other than that, I will see you tomorrow. Have a nice day and peace.